Happy Super Sentai Day! Yes, Super Sentai officially turns 50 years old today at the time that this video is released. And if you don't know what Super Sentai is, well, then I don't know how you got here, but hello and welcome! Let me tell you about Super Sentai. Super Sentai is a Japanese tokusatsu franchise produced by Toei, starting with the first Super Sentai in 1975, Himitsu Sentai Gorenger. Yes, for the majority of you who are watching who do know what Sentai is, I know Gorenger wasn't always considered a Super Sentai show, but we're not gonna get into that in this video. It doesn't change the fact that Super Sentai is in fact 50 years old. There have been many different iterations of the show following Gorenger. One of them being Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger, which was introduced to an English-speaking audience in the form of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And for the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers a couple years ago, I did release a special video then, just like I'm doing now for Sentai. So please, please, please go check that out. I put a lot of time and effort in that, and the responses I've gotten, especially from family and friends, from that video, really honestly touching. So yes, please go watch that video after you watch this video. But anyways, the currently airing Super Sentai show is called Number 1 Sentai Gozyuger, where the members of the team strive to become number 1, even though it's already in their name, but yeah, hey, whatever. Some of my personal favorite Sentai shows throughout the years include Tokume Sentai Go Busters, Samurai Sentai Shinkenger, Maho Sentai Maji Ranger, which we'll talk more about later in this video, and in most recent years, Osama Sentai King-ohger. Oh my god, King-ohger, this Sentai made me feel things I've never felt before. The characters, the drama, the designs, the beautiful premiere, the arcs and reveals, and the absolutely epic 3-part finale. All of it was superb. I even went to the final live tour and spent my life savings at the king-ohger pop-up shop because I adore this friggin' show. However, there is still one show that tops it. Yes, Kaizoku Sentai Gozyuger. Gozyuger was the big 35th anniversary celebration of the series, and it's still the best anniversary show in my opinion, although I think a lot of fans would agree with that. It has badass characters, a crazy legend war, all the Ranger keys, and so many cameos. This show defined a significant part of my life. My last year of high school, my first year of college, my first car, my first breakup, and so many fun hangouts and adventures with the people who I still consider friends today, with a good chunk of them being my fellow heroes of fandom. All of this happened as I watched the space pirates save Earth from the Zanyak Empire. Once in a while, I'll still do the Gokai change and posing and everything. Gokai pa pa yeah, because it's just so cool. The Gokaigers definitely have some of the strongest body language in all of Sentai. Like, you could tell exactly what kind of characters they are just by looking at them in suit. So shoutouts to the suit actors. They did a really good job with this show. So let's get to the point of this video, how I got into Super Sentai. Like a lot of the Western/English speaking fandom, Power Rangers is essentially what led me to Super Sentai. But there was a moment when I was exposed to Super Sentai without even realizing it until years later. When I was in elementary school, my family and I went to a comics and stuff somewhere in San Diego. Behind one of the counters, I saw a toy robot in box. The box seemed in good condition, but you can tell it was pretty old. The toy reminded me a lot like a Megazord. On the front of the box were 5 heroes in different colored spandex, just like the Power Rangers. I was in awe, wondering what it could be. I didn't even know the language it was in, I just knew it wasn't in English. After a moment of curiosity, I came to the conclusion that this had to be a Power Rangers knockoff. Oh my god, a knockoff? Did I really call the source material of Power Rangers a knockoff? Yes, I did. Listen, Tegasword-sama, I'm so sorry. Forgive me for I have sinned. And then we just left the store and went home. For a long time, I didn't even really think about the toy. In the good old days of dial-up, I would use a website called rangercentral.com or Power Rangers Central. Longtime fans know what I'm talking about. It was a website run by fans that had info on all of the Power Rangers seasons, characters, arsenal, episodes, basically everything that fans needed to know about the in-show universe of Power Rangers. It still exists today, actually, and while not fully up to date, it's still pretty comprehensive. Fast forward to sometime in middle school, as I was looking at Power Rangers Central one fateful day, I noticed another website on the main page. A sister website, if you want to call it that, as it's run by the same people. supersentai.com, or Super Sentai Capsule. I clicked on it. It had the same format as Power Rangers Central, but this time there were teams of Rangers I had never seen before. Gorenger, Jacker, Battle Fever J, and so many more. What the heck is going on? What's a Super Sentai? Who are all these heroes that look just like Power Rangers? I then read on the website that Super Sentai is a show from Japan where Power Rangers is derived from. And I was like, what? My mind was blown. Absolutely blown. I started studying immediately. I couldn't believe this show had run even longer than Power Rangers. It was then I realized that that toy robot that I saw years ago at comics and stuff was a toy from Chodenshi Bioman. Speaking of toys, there's a Japanese supermarket chain called Mitsuwa Marketplace, with one of their locations being in San Diego. One day my dad decided to take us there for the first time. Lots of Japanese products, food, toys, and I remember seeing these small candy toy figures of Tokusou Sentai Deca Ranger. I specifically remember the Deca Master one. I really wanted it, but I didn't have money at the time as this was still when I was in middle school. There was also a bookstore within the marketplace. Unfortunately, it's no longer there. But they had Super Sentai mooks that I thought were super cool. Around this time, Maji Ranger was airing, and Maji Ranger became the first Super Sentai I watched, and I absolutely loved it. I still love it, and it holds a very special place in my heart. And overall, aesthetic-wise, with the suits, the arsenal, the mech, these have the best designs out of all of Super Sentai. Again, overall. I still love suits like Gokaiger's Gokai Red and Black Knight from Seiju Sentai Gingaman, but the overall aesthetic of Maji Ranger is just way too clean and way too clever. I eventually went back to watch Deca Ranger, continue with the series after Maji Ranger, going into Go-Go Sentai Bokenger, and experience the 30th anniversary of the series while learning about older shows and team-up specials, and I just kept going from there. Eventually, I had enough allowance money to start up my collection in its humble beginnings, starting with the Power Rangers Mystic Force toys, which I did talk about in my Power Rangers 30th anniversary video, and buying little candy toys and mooks from Maji Ranger at Mitsuwa Marketplace anytime my parents would take us there. But it wasn't until I was in college and had my first part-time job when I started importing Super Sentai toys from Japan. And the first toy I got was a Ranger key set from Gokaiger, the DX Engine Sentai Gorenger Ranger key set. I remember it was pretty affordable and I really wanted Ranger keys, so that was a good start to the collection. And I have now been a fan of the series for nearly 20 years. And now we're in the 50th year of Super Sentai. What a wild ride. What a crazy adventure. And here's to another 50 years of Super Sentai. Let me know in the comments, how did you get into Super Sentai? We would like to know. But thank you all so much, everyone, for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Follow us on our social media down below. Do it for Tegasword-sama. He wants you to do it. You gotta do it. We also have a Discord, so make sure to flex your toys, collectibles, all that good stuff. And let's talk about Super Sentai.